It's all you, man. It's all you.
Hey guys, so I just got in a package from my supplement sponsor, Staunch Supplements, based off in actually 30 minutes away from me. But this is Calum von Moger's supplement company, but I want to show you guys what I got. Cutting knife with, cutting it open with a kitchen knife because obviously. Alright, so it looks like this is what I got. This is basically more or less what I do take on a pretty regular basis. But I got the new Staunch peanut butter cup protein. But what I got is this. I got the new Staunch peanut butter cup protein powder. This is an isolate, so it's like a super pure blend. These are the macros. So basically just protein. This is the creatine that I take. It's called the creatine 5. It has 5 different forms of creatine. Monohydrates, all of that stuff. And then the mystery flavor of Koala Freak, which I'm not exactly sure what the flavor is. Obviously, because it's a mystery. I'm going to see what it is, but this is my favorite pre-workout. So I get questions all the time on what my favorite pre-workout is. But that's what I do take. Whoa, focus. There we go, I'm back. But yeah, I just got off of a client call. Been doing some work. Like I said, I finished finals yesterday. Just checked my grade. I got 100%, so got an A in the class, so dab. Anyways, yeah, I have to push day to day. I'll probably film that. It's day 4 of my overreaching week. I am destroyed, but I'm going to do my absolute best and show you guys the workout. What are you playing?
Medal of Honor Air 1.
Isn't this game like way old?
Yeah, it's from the Xbox 360.
I remember playing it.
It's really old.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is. It's so slow. Holy crap.
Well, it was being like in 2000s, so.
Oh yeah, rocket launcher.
Jacob, is this basically what quarantine has done to you?
Yeah, pretty much. I got my Xbox 360 games back.
Did mom and dad tell you whether or not you're going back to school?
You're what?
Are you guys going back to school?
No, we're not. We're doing online school.
How do you feel about that?
Sucks. I really want to see my friends, but gotta just stay home.
Yeah, I feel.
So yeah, that's really it.
Okay, so I'm going to try out the mystery flavor of Staunch Koala Freak. See what I think. It's kind of interesting. It's like a berry, like a mixed berry. Kind of like the frozen fruit. It's really good. I mean, I put ice in it. If you put ice in your pre-workout, it makes it way more anabolic. But out of 10, like, it has a little bit of a weird aftertaste, to be honest. But most pre-workouts do. Let me try it a little bit more. I want to see. Yeah, like 6 out of 10. I think there's a better flavors. I really like the blue raspberry one, but it's not that bad. Like, and 6 out of 10 for pre-workout's pretty good. It's just the aftertaste for me. But like, Koala Freak is like my absolute favorite pre-workout, and I'll probably go a little bit into why that is. Alright guys, I wanted to just finish off this video with an informative segment detailing how to estimate reps in reserve and how to, I guess, progress with it during the mesocycle, because this is something that a lot of people have questions with, and I found that it can be a really big stressor for a lot of my clients because my programs are all RPE based or reps in reserve based. So just to define this for people that don't know, RPE is a measure of relative intensity of how hard the lift was on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is like easy, basically like walking around. A 10 would be like an all-out sprint, or I could do nothing more. In order to see net positive adaptations, we need to be RPE 6 and above, or have 4 or less reps in reserve on sets, or for it to be considered a stimulative set of muscle growth or strength adaptations, and usually it's going to be above RPE 6 and 7 and greater. But essentially, there are a few proxies that you can use with estimating where you are about on RPE / reps in reserve, and I'll kind of explain a few of the approaches that I like to use. So one is, because typically most of my clients are coming to me are not brand new lifters who don't have any experience with how much weight they can do for 10 reps on, let's say a bench press, for example, at like a maximal load. So typically what I'll have my clients do is send me a estimated rep max with a specific weight, or what they've done in the past with their previous training, and then I'll have them kind of work back from there. So let's say you have a 10 rep max of 200 pounds on bench press. Well, you can kind of work back and then see, okay, how does 200 pounds for 7 reps feel and on bench press? And you can kind of learn how your body responds in terms of rep speed slowdown, where you kind of will start to get sticking points, what feedback your body is giving you that you're in this particular area of RPE. And many people will kind of be able to tell over time and with practice where they are about on the RPE / reps in reserve scale. And I want to really stress this. This is a skill, and it takes time and practice to develop and actually understand and master. Although I will say that it is something that you can struggle with, and you will still need to consistently be learning and be honest with yourself. And sometimes for people that are used to pushing RPE 9 and 10, so basically around max effort every single set, when I start to introduce them to a lower relative intensity, it can be a little bit, I guess, ambiguous and like a floating target, and like I don't know if I'm training hard enough. Because if you're training to failure, there's like no way to like say, oh, I'm not training hard and this wasn't a super stimulative set. As if I say I want you to train with 3 or 4 reps in reserve or whatever, or 2, people may not know what that feels like. So typically what I'll do, especially if a client is coming from a background of I'm used to pushing RPE 9 and 10 all the time, I say, great, okay, so now because I'm, and I'm hoping that they've done multiple rep schemes. If they haven't, that's fine, we can learn over time. But let's say we're doing 10 reps and they know about what they've been doing in previous mesocycles on specific exercises, for like RPE 9 to 10 on their sessions. Basically I'll have them work backwards and say, okay, so you were doing this last mesocycle, I want you to start off right here, and maybe instead of doing 200 pounds for 10, you may want to do 200 pounds for 7. Or I'll take, so whatever percentage of that is, on using a percentage estimate of how much weight they should be using if there's the same rep goal. So like for example, like 200 pounds for 10 reps, if I want RPE 7, and that's their RPE 10. If I want like an RPE 7 for 10, then I might take 15% off of that and then use that as, this is going to be around RPE 7, 8 for you, and then progress, adding 5 to 10 pounds each session from there. So that's one way that you can learn how to incorporate RPE and relative intensity in your training. And why I recommend using a relative intensity scheme like this and not always training RPE 9 to 10 is because if you're going maximal every single session, one, it takes so much more recovery resources and everything needs to be a lot more in place in order to actually recover. B, it's harder to adapt. And the reason why I say, like, so recovery is important, but adaptation's also more important. That's actually where you do get better. If all you're doing is just recovering, but you're not adapting, you're not getting better from session to session, there's like really no point. You're just beating your head against a brick wall, not making adaptations. The whole purpose of weight training is to get better, is to get bigger, and to get stronger, and you need to be able to adapt to that training. So using RPE's system where you progress from 7 week 1, 8, 9, 10, and you can literally just do that by choosing a load that you know that you can progress from that's around RPE 7, that you know this is comfortable for me, and I know I can progress with. You add 5 to 10 pounds each week, and because you're not going to get strong forever, inevitably, and you know, if that was the case, we would all be Larry Wheels, but you're going to reach a point where it's failure and you're going to need to deload, and fatigue is going to be so high that you're going to need to deload. So for a long-term progress perspective, and there's also going to be less injury risk from always pushing maximally all the time, because more heavier loads, more maximal loads will tax your connective tissues, your soft tissues to a greater extent than a lower relative intensity will. And it's not like there's like a ridiculously high like curve up when you get closer to failure. Like what happens is basically anything below 6, it's kind of like this, like a very slow like increase. Once you get to 6, 7, 8, it's kind of like it'll go up, and then from 9 to 10 it'll kind of level off more. So it's not like you're getting like that much more hypertrophy. And to be frank, if you're not advanced, typically there's not a huge need to always to like even go to that extent. You know, you can do it, there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to periodize and program in correctly. And I think that looking at big bodybuilders like Dorian Yates who are training RPE 90 to 10, yeah, that's fine, I work for them, but like how many people are Dorian Yates? Well, and what works best, like anecdote is very weak evidence. If you can use science to guide your training practices, that's going to be much better. One thing I do also want to go back on, I'll pop something up on the screen right here, but you can also use speed as a proxy for how close you are to failure. So rep speed when it starts to slow down and whatnot. And this will depend a little bit on your fiber type, because basically if you're type 1 more slow twitch, it'll typically be a little bit easier for you to discern if you're RP 7, 8, 9, 10, because you're just more oxidative, you have more capacity to train for longer and whatnot. You're not as explosive, but there won't be like as much of like a drop off in performance because you're able to train for longer, for harder. Now the downside, there's not as much force produced typically with type 1 fibers. If you're more type 2 like myself, usually there's not going to be as big of a difference in speed between the different RPEs, but you can use speed as a proxy. And for most people, what you're going to find is that once you get to RPE 7, around that area, you'll start to have some reps speed slow down. Typically when it starts to get hard, that's when I say you're RPE 7. RPE 8 is probably going to be a little bit more of a slowdown. You might have to reset. RPE 9 is going to be, there's some definite slowdown. A spotter, if you had it, might be reaching for the bar. You're saying, don't take it, I'll kill you. We've all been there. And then RPE 10 is like, I think I just saw Jesus on that set. Like there was no way I could have gotten another up. It's super slow, probably grinder, but that's another way that you can use it. But yeah, remember that, and the reason why I say that you should train with RPE is just because it's better for long-term progress. You're going to have less chance of getting hurt. You'll be able to better manage your fatigue throughout the training cycle, be able to make more consistent progress as a result. So, too long, didn't read two ways that you can determine RPE. Know around about what a rep max is for you at a specific weight. Work your way backwards from there and say, okay, so, and then you'll kind of be able to get used to what an RPE of, the different RPEs feel like, 7, 8, 9, 10, based off of that. You can also use rep speed that you notice over your sets as a proxy for how close to failure that you are, what RPE that you're at. So slight rep speed slow down is probably 7. You're having to reset, and there's definitely some definitive rep speed slowdown, RPE 8. If it starts to get kind of more grindy, it's probably RPE 9. If you're really having to grind, you're probably at RPE 10, and you probably barely got that last rep up. So anyways, hope that this was helpful. If you guys are interested in coaching or programs, links are down below. Follow me on Instagram, like the video, subscribe. Really helps me out. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, and later.